Okay, I think we're on now. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Jane Viana speaking here from VisiPlace. I hope everyone is having a good day so far and a good week. Um, I would like to talk to you guys about Express Entry, right? We had some exciting changes on this month, so I wanted to give you some updates on what's going on and perhaps answer some questions if you guys have any, and talk about some of the latest updates that we have had received from IRCC. So let's talk about what's going on right now, and perhaps you can even do a bit of a brush up in terms of the federal skilled worker program, since that's probably the greatest news that we have for today, for this month. So we can talk about the eligibility for that particular program for people who have been following Canadian immigration and perhaps are like interested to make sure that they are eligible, if this is a good option for them. So we talk about that. So any questions about federal skilled worker or express entry in general, feel free to write them down in the comments below, and we can I'll be happy to answer them as we go. Okay. Okay. Well, I think I already broke the news, right? But as we talked about together on my previous events, um, Express Entry System was almost exclusively sending out invitations for Canadian Experience class and provincial nominees, right? So for some time, we did have some limitation in terms of who are being invited under the Express Entry System, which was great for those in Canada, but perhaps, a little disappointing for those outside Canada, or even for those individuals in Canada, physically in Canada, that perhaps are not yet eligible for the CC, but could be potentially good candidates under the FSW. So the fact that IRCC has resumed sending out invitations for the Federal Skilled Worker Program is great news in general. We had a couple of months of CEC, Canadian Experience class only, so a lot of people benefited from that, which is good. But now we're back to a more playing field for all the programs, right? Um, you know, we had one draw so far, which was in, I believe, July 8th this month, so earlier this month. We had only one draw so far that included the Federal Skilled Worker Program, but we do believe that they are back to stay, right? So we had a draw today, it was provincial nomination only, but we do believe that the next upcoming draws would be more general as well, which is good. Nearly 50% of all invitations to apply under the Express Entry System are sent out to federal skilled worker applicants. So it's good. Let's hope that the numbers will go back to normal, because I know that a lot of you have been waiting for it for a long time, right? Let's talk a little bit about the points, because I had a lot of questions, especially from clients regarding this, right? So the points in terms of cutoff, the cutoff prior to the lockdown and prior to March, prior to CC only, it was around 471. I think that was the latest, right? Before they stopped inviting FSW applicants. And then of course the CRS went significantly lower during the lockdown, and why not? And now it's back up. So the latest draw from July 8th was 478, which is 7 points above the cutoff prior to the lockdown. So we did see a bit of an increase, but we don't know if the next rounds would keep up that high score, or it will eventually decrease a little bit. I do think it will decrease a bit, so less than ideal, because it might, right, once the backlog is caught up and things go back to more normal processing. Another comment that I would like to make here, it's regarding the tie-break rule, right? For those who don't know, the tie-break rule is basically whenever there's a match between many candidates in terms of the cutoff, those with the older profile would have preference. This was a big deal on the latest draw, because we had a lot of people with the same score, right? A lot of people with the same amount of points, and that was right there on that was the exact cutoff. So the tie-break rule was really important for this last draw, which is something that I talk about with everyone during consultations, right? If you're ready, if you are eligible to join the pool of candidates, do it as soon as you can, because you may benefit from the tie-break rule, right? If you have an older profile, if your profile has been in the pool for longer, you get preference in a case of a match, which can be, pretty important. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you're ready, if you know that you have enough points, if you know that your eligibility is checked, Don't wait up, just join the pool, even if you're still working on retaking your language exam or perhaps finishing some postgrad degree or finishing some master's degree. If you're eligible, don't wait up, join in. That can be useful. Now, that being said, let's take a quick look on the eligibility criteria or in requirements in order to join the pool of candidates under the FSW program, right? So pretty much three things you have to keep in mind, right? Those are the bones of this process. The first one would be your work experience. You need to have at least 1 year of full-time professional paid work experience, right? And it should be continuous, and it should be within the same occupation and the same employer. If you have that, then you meet the work requirement. You need to take a language exam and get, intermediate to advanced bands on the language exam. So that would be a 6 on IELTS exam and a 7 on the CELPIP exam. So those are the minimal bands that you need in order to join the pool of candidates. Of course, the higher your bands, the more competitive your profile would be, but this is the minimum, okay? And this is not the same for the CEC, so attention to that. We're only talking about FSW right now. And finally, you need to get your academic credentials assessed. So high school, bachelor, master's, double degree, PhD, whatever is your education background, you need to get it assessed if it was not done in Canada. Okay, so those three things need to be done. Of course, identifying your right occupation code is very important as well. It's something that you want to have clarified before you start putting your profile out there. So that's why it's so important to work with a good consultant whenever you're getting ready even to join the pool of candidates, because choosing the right NOC, it's pretty important at this first stage of the process, right? You will not be required to provide reference letters, employment reference letters right away, but you want to make sure that those reference letters are aligned with whatever NOC and whatever work experience indicated in the beginning, right? So alignments is very important when it comes to the express entry. You don't want to go as far as submitting your paperwork just to later find out that something was missing or something was, right? And lastly, you need to meet a particular threshold on a different point system in order to ensure your eligibility for the FSW program, right? So this is a calculation that needs to be done depending on your profile. Basically, you need to meet a specific number out of 100, right? So you need 67 out of 100 points. It does not matter if you have 67 or 100, as long as you have 67 or more, right? So it's not a competitive system. It's just really a threshold that needs to be met. If you have those 3-4 things, then it means you're good to go. You're good to join the pool of candidates, okay? Let me know if you have questions about that. I try to be brief, but if you want to get in more details in any of those aspects, do let me know and we can break it down a bit more, okay? There are a couple other updates that I want to perhaps take the chance to share with everyone, and this can be pretty important for those who are in Canada, and also some updates about students, right, or prospective potential students if you're looking to come into Canada this year or perhaps early next year as an international student. There's some interesting updates for them as well, for you as well. So the first one is for those who are in Canada on temporary visas, right? So visitor visas, work permits, or study permits. If by any chance you overstay your stay, the restoration of status period have been extended all the way up to December. Right? So if your visa expired earlier in January and you just didn't know what to do, you couldn't leave, the borders were closed, and all that, all that confusion and lack of information due to the health crisis that we were facing back then, you should still be fine to restore your status, which is great news because, being out of status can have serious complications for a lot of people, especially if you're looking to apply for PR. So if you had any trouble leaving the country or renewing your visa, you may still have time. Reach out to us and we're going to look into your situation in a little bit more closely. Okay? That's for restoration of status. Now, regarding the study permit applicants, we know that prospective students have been facing a lot of uncertainty because the schools may or may not be open. If they're open, they will be providing online classes, and IRCC has been quite generous on addressing that situation as well, right? So basically, if you are unable to get your visa and be in Canada right now for September, in order to start your studies, you may still be able to start from your home country, start it online, and then eventually join your college or university here in Canada on the ground, right? And that will not have a negative impact on your postgrad work permit, which is a concern that most of you would probably have because, you know, if you're coming in to study, it's likely because you want to invest on your work permit afterwards and your potential immigration process afterwards as well, right? So this is great news. You won't have to push the start date of your study program all the way up to, you know, mid 2021 or next September. You can start this year still and still ensure that you get your work permit and PR, you know, strategy aligned. So that's pretty good. Basically, they're introducing a two-stage approval process, right? We know that biometrics are taking a little longer. Police clearance certificates may be taking a little longer. So this is great because it lets you get it started sooner, and then you can take care of officializing the visa approval later on once things are a little bit more back to normal. Okay, so for those who are looking to come into study, don't give up. There's still time, very much. We can still get it done. And as long as you submit your application before September 15, right? So right now we are in July, we still have some time. Yeah, so you have up to September 15 to actually apply for a study permit and benefit from this two-stage process. All right, so there's plenty of time for you to decide for your program, enroll with the school, and get started. Okay, so yeah, reach out to us. We're gonna give you more information on how to go about that, and so make sure that your application is submitted. You get the first stage approval, and then later on get the second stage approval without causing too much delay on your process overall. Okay. Well, those were the updates that I had for us. Let me take a look at the questions now, so we can see. My son's visa is expiring in October. He's currently working in Vancouver. Can you help him stay longer? He's from Ireland. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, should be able to extend his stay. I don't have enough detail on the type of work permit he's holding right now, but we may be able to extend his stay as a worker or as a student or even as a visitor. But we certainly can extend his stay. We just have to look into what kind of visa he may be eligible for, right? Can I work in Canada without a work visa? No, unfortunately, you need a work visa. There are some very particular situations where individuals can be in Canada and work without a work visa, but those are very specific and they're certainly not general. So the rule of thumb here will be, no, you need to have proper work authorization in order to work in Canada. What about tomorrow's express entry draw? Well, we're all expecting to have a draw on Friday. Usually is when they are released. You know, we're waiting to see what will come. We are pretty confident, pretty positive that the next draws would be general and it would include all the programs, but we have to wait and see. So, you know, if you have your profile on a pool of candidates, certainly keep an eye open because we might have good news coming by the end of the week today. So. Okay, just give me a second. I have applied for a study permit, but due to COVID, I have to apply for deferment 2 times. With my deferment, probably no. I mean, it depends on when you're looking to start, but as of right now, I'll say apply for the study permit and you can benefit, this particular person can benefit from the 2-stage process, right? So I don't think so. I think you still have, you know, I shouldn't defer your study, the start of your study program any longer. Just let's get the study permit in and you may be able to start, I'm not sure about your college, but you may be able to start your online and then eventually move to on-ground classes once things are back open, right? So come back, talk to us, and we'll let you know what will be the best course of action for you from here. But it shouldn't interfere the likelihood of your application being approved. We understand that what went on, it's outside of our control, and people are just trying to do the best to accommodate, right? So it shouldn't be a problem as long as you know how to address everything, and everything is well explained. Okay. Are they processing spousal work permit? Yes, family class is still up and running. They never stopped. So if you are eligible, if you want to sponsor your loved one, spouse, or common law partner, they are very much processing work permits for under the spousal program and PR applications under the spousal program. Maybe taking a little longer processing time, but very much still up and running. So yeah, if you are eligible, don't wait, because there's probably a line of people waiting as well. So let's get that submitted as soon as possible. Okay. Lots of questions about the tomorrow's draw, right? So we're also looking forward to see what will come, guys. I wish I had some inside information, but I don't. Can I work in Canada and have work permit? Okay, I think those are all the questions. We don't have an office in the UK, but we're able to provide advice and a full representation on any immigration application remotely. So we can always book a consult over Skype or over the phone, and then we can go from there. We don't need to be physically present at the same place. We will be happy to assist you regardless of that. Okay, our office is very much up and running. We never stopped, so we're well prepared to work remotely, which is good. Okay, guys, so I think this is it for today. Let's keep an eye open for what's coming this week on Express Entry. I think it's overall the news are good. We're back to a more playing field for everyone. So candidates that are in Canada, we have a lot of clients that are in Canada, perhaps not yet eligible for the Canadian Experience class, but could already be invited under the Federal Skilled Worker Program. But because no invites are being sent, those individuals had to put everything on hold. So it's good news for people not only outside, but also those who are in Canada. But we know that a big slice of candidates immigrating through Express Entry, they are coming from abroad. So that was a pause for some time. It's hopefully up and running, and I'll be sure to touch base with you guys next week, perhaps in 2 weeks, to let you know how things are moving. So let's all wait and see. And okay, I hope you guys are staying well and keeping safe, and we'll be in touch. Okay, if you have any more questions, if you want to do a more personalized assessment of your case or situation, don't hesitate to contact us anytime. We can book a phone or a Skype consult and look into your situation in more detail. Okay, have a good rest of the day, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.